I'm Amy. I've been married for 6 years now. Currently, I'm living with my husband's family. His father passed away 10 years ago. My husband, Andy, is the eldest son, but he didn't intend to live with his mother, who favors his younger sister over him. However, when our daughter was a little over 1.5 years old, something happened. During a family visit to my in-laws' house, my toddler nearly fell down the stairs, and it seems my mother-in-law fell trying to protect her. Andy and I didn't witness the incident, so this is according to her account. She was injured badly enough to require care, as her leg became disabled. We felt obligated to live with her to take responsibility. I ended up taking on all the household chores, and of course, we also bear all the living expenses. She spends her entire pension on personal expenses and enjoys her time leisurely. I've heard from doctors that she could walk normally again with rehabilitation and that her injuries weren't that severe. It seemed she already a cunning person, decided to do nothing and took advantage of the situation. Andy says, "Amy, you don't have to worry so much about Mom, but I couldn't help it." Gradually, she began to take advantage of the situation, buying expensive massage chairs and ordering luxury gourmet food from TV shopping, claiming it was for stress relief from her immobility. When she runs out of money, she shamelessly asks Andy and me for more. It seems she shares the gourmet food with her daughter, without offering any to us. Both Andy and I were increasingly stressed by her. One weekday, as usual, his sister, Julie, was visiting. I was working from home and stayed in my room, but when I happened to pass by the living room, I overheard my mother-in-law and Julie talking about something shocking without noticing me. "By the way, Mom, did you really hurt yourself protecting their child? You don't even like kids, right? Are you really fond of your grandchild?" "Of course not. I just happened to fall. But if I say it was because I was protecting their child, I can make those two feel indebted to me. It's very convenient." My smart mother. I was horrified. This was despicable. I couldn't believe it was all a lie. I regretted not recording the conversation on the spot. I immediately texted Andy about what I heard. He replied, "I had a feeling it was something like that. Let's cancel the renovation plans and look for a time to move out." Relieved that he was on my side, I ended the text with, "Got it. Good luck with your work." We had been keeping it a secret from his mother, but Andy and I were discussing a major renovation or building a new house. This was because the in-laws' house, to put it mildly, was not a mansion but rather a very ordinary for LDK family home. The house has the main bedroom, currently used by my mother-in-law. Next to it is the study, where my father-in-law used to work before he passed away. There are also two children's rooms, previously used by Andy and his sister. We placed a bed in Andy's room and stored 3 people's cabinets and belongings in the room used by Julie, but it was incredibly cramped. About a week after we decided to abandon our plans and consider moving out, after sending Andy off to work, my mother-in-law said something outrageous. "Wait, Julie, she got divorced?" Julie is Andy's sister, 8 years younger than him. She was spoiled growing up and is quite selfish. I have been the target of her hostility and harassment. However, the harassment decreased around the time Andy and I got married, which was also when Julie got married. She said, "Well, Julie will be moving back in with us. Amy, I'm counting on you. It's going to be fun having more family around." Sounding excited and happy. Wait a minute, she's moving back into this house? Of course, she's family. Poor thing, she has nowhere else to turn. She glared at me. No, I mean, which room will she be using? Is it going to be study room that's available? About that, Amy. You guys have been using Julie's room, right? I want it back. And she wants to use Dad's study too. She has so many clothes. You know. Just one room isn't enough for her. I was dumbfounded. In a house with only 4 rooms, Andy and I are already struggling with the limited space, and now Julie alone is going to use 2 rooms? What does she think about her son and me? It felt like we were being treated more like cash cows than as a son and daughter-in-law. I was angry but then realized this could be our chance to leave. How about we all sit down and talk about it tonight, including Julie and Andy? But then, something unexpected happened. "Amy, I heard you're opposing my moving back home." Who do you think you are? Julie called me, furious, shortly after that. I hadn't directly opposed it, but it seemed my mother-in-law had informed her. It's not that I'm opposing. I just suggested that we should discuss it. So, why do we need to discuss me moving back into my own house? One room should be enough for you guys. Just do as Mom says. I was so frustrated with her domineering tone that I couldn't help but respond sharply. Why? Because there are 3 of us. We're already struggling with the limited space. Besides, if we're going to live together, shouldn't you be the one to discuss it with us? Julie retorted, remember this, Amy. I'll tell Mom. How dare you, just a daughter-in-law, and hung up the phone. Right after, Andy called after reading my report text. Hey, Amy. I don't think Julie's husband is the cheating type. It must be Julie who has the problem. I'll talk to him. Okay. I thought something was off too. It didn't make sense for Julie, with her tough personality, to be cheated on and just return home. She would more likely kick out her husband. About 2 hours later, Andy called again. Just as he suspected, it turned out Julie was the one who had cheated. She was a housewife who didn't do any housework or care for the home, just went out and ended up getting divorced for her infidelity. Andy apologized repeatedly to Julie's ex-husband, feeling embarrassed. She's also behind on her credit card payments and has no savings. She probably planned to depend on Andy for it. Andy and I discussed the situation and made a plan. Then that night, Julie came over, and the 4 of us, Andy, his mother, and I, sat down to talk. Andy began, Julie, I heard you're getting divorced. I understand you want to live here, as my mother-in-law and Julie smirked at me. See, Andy is different. So kind. Unlike Amy, who is just terrible. So, what about the division of duties? He interjected. Division? Of what? Seeing Julie's puzzled expression, I said, housework, Julie. Naturally, if we're living together. Cleaning, laundry, meal preparation. And of course, you'll contribute half to the living expenses. Oh, and since I have to take care of our daughter, you'll have to take care of your mother entirely. After all, caring for a parent is a child's duty, not a daughter-in-law's. My mother-in-law's anger exploded. What are you saying? Why would you make Julie do housework? You're a stay-at-home wife, aren't you? That's right. Amy is a stay-at-home wife. It's just like a parasite. Not earning money, just wasting his money. It's only natural for family to serve each other. Well, Julie, you were a stay-at-home wife since you got married, right? Those words are a boomerang back to you, you know? I'm different. I'm the daughter in this house. You're just a daughter-in-law. My mother-in-law kept defending Julie, saying, that's right. That's right. Perhaps she thinks it's pitiable for her own daughter to be in the same situation, but somehow different for me. So, Andy said, Mom, Amy works at home. Julie is unemployed now. By that logic, Julie should do all the housework. Why does Amy have to do everything? That's ridiculous. Julie said, glancing at me, I will get a job eventually. Maybe I'll become an illustrator. I've always been good at drawing. But I need to study art, so I can't work. If I'm studying, I can't do housework either. Andy coldly said, Amy is working and doing housework. Why can't you do housework if you're studying? Oh. And you'll be paying for your studies yourself, right? Julie nonchalantly replied, what? We're family, don't be so cold. You pay for it. To test Julie, I asked her, will you be drawing digitally or traditionally? What are a traditional and a digital? Don't use words I don't know. By the way, traditional refers to traditional drawing on paper. Digital means using a computer to draw. In fact, I'm not just a stay-at-home wife, I work from home, as Andy also mentioned. Despite juggling childcare and caregiving responsibilities, I'm a successful illustrator with a magazine column. Julie's lack of even basic knowledge indicates she's not serious. This was proven when she said, well, maybe I could open a nail art salon. It's sparkly, pretty, and stylish. Perfect for me. Bringing up another profession entirely. All talk and no action. She has no intention of working or contributing financially to the house. I blurted out, Julie, you called me a parasite, but it seems like you're planning to be the real parasite in this house. Shut up. Andy has a duty to take care of Mom and me. The rooms are mine anyway, my old room and Dad's unused study. What's wrong with that? She seemed quite self-assured. I should prioritize my daughter, Julie, over you, a daughter-in-law, my mother-in-law said, glaring at me. With her mother on her side, Julie declared triumphantly, those rooms are mine. Get out. Really? Okay, got it. You heard her, right?
Yeah.
Of course. So, Mom, we're moving out. Andy and I quickly stood up to leave with our daughter. My mother-in-law and Julie were left stunned. Wait, what do you mean? Stop. Don't leave. By the time my mother-in-law and Julie panicked, it was already too late. We're just leaving as you asked. We've decided to cut ties with you and Julie, I said firmly. My mother-in-law threatened, how can you be so heartless to Julie? And what about my leg? But Andy refused, I care more about my wife and child than a grown-up sister who's returned home. We've done enough for Mom. And we know it wasn't really an injury from protecting my daughter. We know your leg isn't that bad. You were told rehabilitation would help. And Julie is perfectly healthy. Why doesn't she work? So, we took only our valuables and quickly left the house. We still had to return for our belongings and handle some formalities, but our seriousness must have been clear. Later, my mother-in-law tried to move forcibly and worsened her condition. She ended up unable to walk again. She was supposed to walk again if she did rehabilitation. It was the result of years of neglecting rehabilitation. Julie, seeing no use in her mother, quickly put her in a facility. She funded it by selling the old house, which didn't fetch much money. She placed her mother in a poorly reputed facility that provided minimal care. Despite getting money, Julie did not pay off her credit card debt. The interest on the debt just keeps getting higher and higher. The debt collection company took all the money Julie had and made her work at a job arranged by them to cover the rest. The debt, growing with interest, seemed impossible to clear. It was all self-inflicted. Andy and I successfully distanced ourselves from Julie and my mother-in-law, who were fully prepared to be parasites. Living in a spacious new house, stress-free, I became pregnant with our second child. We're now living very happily.